I wanted to do a quick video here to talk about correspondence theory and of truth and cohesion theory of truth using the matrix to illustrate it. Um, the matrix takes place in a simulation for the most part, at least in the beginning. And Neo is living in a world that he believes is correspondence theory. He believes that it's a normal world and what you see is reality. But there are contradictions that happen to him even in the world he thinks is real, or what we would say the correspondence theory world, where what you see is that which is real. When it is predicted that he needs to follow someone with the rabbit tattoo, when the computer starts talking to him, when his mouth all of a sudden closes, that is suggesting to him that there's something wrong with this world now. So he's in the process of waking up, if you will. And when Morpheus and the underground troop that is fighting the machine system come and find Neo and give him the choice of the red pill or the blue pill, and when Neo makes the decision to join the group, he takes the pill and he finds out what reality really is. But he has to leave the world that he knows, and he finds out that he is, a human battery, in a tower that robots run, and the robots are using his biosystem, his biological body, to produce energy that allows the computers to run. So once the movie does not allow you to move beyond that as the final reality. Okay, that the movie presents that as not simulation. So there, what you see is what you get. I mean, as Neo listens to Morpheus, as he's in the Nebuchadnezzar, as he's their ship, as he is seeing where he's come from and his body, that all of that is real at that point, right? So at that point, the movie is the bottom layer of story of that movie is correspondence theory. But when the troop, when Neo and Morpheus, and Trinity need to go back in, and when I say go back in, they go back into the simulation, don't they, to fight the computer system. They enter back into the simulation, which for all the human beings in that tower that are having these dreams of reality to keep the bodies alive, to keep the mind senses that it's dead or there's no hope. Maybe the bodies would die. I don't know. Apparently, the adult body in these towers, the adult bodies need to have some sort of world of the mind to be in. Okay, so the computers deliver that world of the mind. They craft it, they make it, and they coordinate things so sensations in the mind and the body correspond to the simulation. Thus, when Cypher finally decides to give it up and to be a traitor, the movie presents him as sitting at this fancy restaurant and he's eating steak, and he says, I know it's not real, but it tastes so good. And that's someone who has decided to just live in the world of cohesion. It's not real. You don't really believe it, but it works. It satisfies needs. So that's interesting how the movie goes back and forth with this. I don't necessarily want to talk about everything that we can talk about in The Matrix. It is a movie that represents this, that lends itself to philosophical example. Okay, I'm not necessarily saying that the director sat down and said, let's make a movie about this. So they may have had other goals with this movie, and the movie has other areas to discuss that lend themselves to discussion. But I think the world of the computer, and then the world that the computers deliver to the human beings who are linked up to the tower, is a great example of a world based on cohesion, worldview based, that is it's grounded on cohesion and not reality, not correspondence. Okay, And then as the warriors are able to escape their towers and be flushed out and be rescued by, you know, ships like the Nebuchadnezzar, and to be trained as to what reality really is, that's correspondence theory. Okay. Um, Now, it is interesting, though, that back in the Matrix, you do have um, glitches like the black cat that is played twice over. And you do have um, bizarre, you know, scenes that strongly suggest, of course, that the world is not as it seems. You know, the whole oracle visit, you know, the bending of the spoon, etc. So, um, people that, you know, try to bring something like the Matrix and bring it to our real life experience might use this to explain miracles or aberrations in physical law, or where the physical law begins to break down. If you study classical physics or quantum physics, you begin to realize no one knows what light is. Okay, no one knows what gravity is. No one knows really what the strong electrical charge, atomic charge, or the weak atomic charge is. Um, no one knows what magnetism is. We can measure the effect that this magnetism, for example, might have on um, iron in terms of how it can cause that iron to move, but we don't know what the thing is. We don't know why an electron and a proton do not want to touch. Excuse me, why two electrons, you know, do not want to touch. They repel each other. Um, but there you have it. So when you have a man that can float up into the clouds, um, someone might say, well, these are visions within visions within this huge vision. These are visions that break away in order to teach you something about what is beyond all of this, right? And so that's one reason I brought The Matrix into the program. Okay, it's a classic movie. It's a very famous movie. It was known in its time for its incredible visual effects and new direction in filming and cinematography. But it also very clearly lends itself to the Descartes issue of dualism. Dualism, again, is just people that just kind of believe that the material world and the mental world can coexist. And it illustrates the problem of interaction that is really there between the mental world and the material world. Um, so the computer system itself can be seen as Descartes' evil demon to deceive the human race. And another name for this type of thing is called the brain in the vat, if you've ever heard of that. The brain in the vat problem. Well, the movie obviously quite clearly uses that as a visual, a schema to build into its story, as you have the actual human being in these vats, you know, and the brain is having a dream. So thank you for watching The Matrix, and thank you for watching this quick video.